Hey, it's Drutter, and it's March the 20th, 2013, and the following is just a ramble about Bitcoin. If you're not interested in Bitcoin, please don't watch. I'm not saying I'm interested in Bitcoin other than to learn from it. I don't invest in Bitcoin. I'm not speculating in it. I don't hold any of this currency, but I do like to learn about things, and Bitcoin is a currency, and I like to learn about money and currency and how they are related and how they aren't related. And this is teaching me some things, so maybe you can learn something too. Just a little warning, the beginning of the clip was noisy because I forgot that my washing machine was on and clunking away in the background, so just ignore that. And yeah, it is kind of rambly. I'll put up on the screen an image of the current Bitcoin chart. It is just under $66. It was just at $66 a moment ago. It's at $65.70 right now, as you can see. And it was a couple of days ago that it had just broken the $50 level, and that's when I said it can go to $1,000. And I got some flack for that. So I'm going to talk about that in this video and just leave the chart up on the screen for you to have a look at. I think that people are thinking of Bitcoin as very poor money, and that's true. It's not meant as money, it's a currency. And they're thinking of it in terms of how many dollars Bitcoin is worth right now, which is wrong. For a currency, you should think of it in terms of its ratio to other currencies. So the Bitcoin to US dollar ratio right now is 66 to 1. It has nothing to do with Bitcoins being $66. Another thing people are doing wrong with Bitcoin, I think, is they say Bitcoin is $66 and silver is $29. This is ridiculous. Silver is an ounce of physical metal, and Bitcoin is a digital idea. And that's true. But they're comparing a currency to a money, so you're comparing something, in a completely different category. It's not even apples and oranges, it's apples and shoes. It doesn't compare. So people need to understand that you need to think of Bitcoin as a currency because that's all it is. It is only a currency, and that's what it was created to be, and that's what it is. It is being spent. And that's the two things you can do with currencies. You can spend them on things, or you can essentially spend them on other currencies, or trade them on the currency market. And yeah, Bitcoins and US dollars are trading at 66 to 1 right now. But currencies operate on supply and demand, just like other things. Although there is a liquidity factor in there, because, for example, US dollars have more liquidity. They can be more easily spent and transferred into other things than almost any other currency that we have. Right now, anyway, that's going down, of course. That's not like it used to be. But in general, currencies trade against each other on a free market, or as free as possible, hopefully. And Bitcoin, yeah, it does have a little bit less liquidity right now. So that is hurting its price. But every day, as the price goes up, and as recognition goes up, and as people realize it's not falling apart, it was never hacked. People think it was hacked. It was exchanges that were hacked. It was, private companies, websites and things that got hacked. But Bitcoin has never been hacked, as far as I know. It's open source. You can see the Bitcoin programming and figure out how it works. I mean, I'm not capable of doing it, but that doesn't mean that it's not true. I've talked to people who are programmers, and they have looked at it. So apparently the programming is sound. And I think as people are starting to notice these things, it is being accepted at more and more places, and it's getting more and more recognition as a currency. And that is what a currency needs in order to become truly floating on the open market of currencies. And then from that point on, the currency is able to determine its own value based on its supply and demand, and of course its liquidity. But Bitcoin, as we know, is one of the only currencies that has a limited supply. Other currencies are inflating themselves away in a race to the bottom, and Bitcoin isn't and can't. So that's why I say Bitcoin can go to $1,000. And that's why I say Bitcoin's ratio with the US dollar is currently 66 to 1. And if you want to think of Bitcoin in terms of, US dollar price, say that it's 0.0066 US dollars right now. Because there are only about 20 million Bitcoins in existence. In fact, they haven't all been mined yet and won't be for another 30 years, so I think there's only 12 million Bitcoin right now. And each one, of course, is divided up into, I think, 8 decimal places. So I think that's what, a million points? Like cents, but further divided into, I think they're called Satoshis. So the price of a full Bitcoin, or 1 million Satoshis, yeah, it could be several thousand US dollars or euros or yen or yuan or whatever. We have to stop thinking of it in terms of, oh, it's more than twice as much as silver, and silver is actually money, and, yeah, we do have to stop thinking of it that way, because that's not how it is. Bitcoin is only a currency and is only meant to be a currency, and that is all it ever will be. One other thing I want to say is, you see this a lot on the internet. If someone talks about something, they can be criticized. Well, there's things out there that are very unpleasant that need to be talked about. I'm not saying Bitcoin's unpleasant, but maybe Bitcoin is a bad thing. Maybe Bitcoin is horrible. I don't know. But should it not be talked about? No, we should probably talk about it. And we should probably learn from it. Me talking about Bitcoin shouldn't be an insult to anyone. If you don't like Bitcoin, then either don't watch the video or whatever, but it's not, I don't see why people are angry at people who talk about things. I'm not endorsing this. I'm not encouraging anyone to be involved in this currency. I'm not involved in this currency myself. I've been just learning about it and talking about it. So hopefully you've learned something from hearing me talk about it. If not,